Notes for my October 2025 reading of The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles. Is it Gilles? Today is Monday, 13 October 2025, and here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, talk through my book and reading notes for my October 2025 reading of a book about military tactics, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles, approximately 500 BC. So this was initially published over 5,200 years ago, approximately. This is the 2002 Dover edition paperback. I'll put the ISBN in the video description. I started the book on Saturday, 11 October 2025, and finished the book on Monday, 13 October 2025. It's 99 pages. It took me 2 days of reading, 40 pages Saturday, 59 pages Monday. And how I came to, so this is not the first time I've read this book. I initially read it, I was visiting a friend in Hawaii, and they had some books in their room, and they were like, you can borrow them. So I borrowed to read and then sent them back. The Alchemist, which I've covered previously, and The Art of War, which I am now getting around to covering. But so how I came to read this was, it was my own choosing, not forced, or like a mandatory something. It was just, my friend was like, have at it, whatever books there are. And I was like, I was like, how about this one? And they were like, okay. And The Alchemist. The translation provided in the book by Dr. Lionel Giles was initially debuted in 1910. So in that sense, the initial publishing is pre-1977, which is the project on this channel, as using the year 1977 as a cutoff. And so it provides a perspective. There's a fairly long introduction and like context about Chinese warfare before the translation, or with the translation, part of the translation, that kind of thing. And so it contextualizes, and it, like, there's even a table of some war events. Some war events I've included like this time frame, like as in before Christianity, or the birth of particular individual saviors in that religion. Like, I've covered this. I've covered Hannibal Barca. I've covered the city of Tanis and the Silver Pharaoh in ancient Egypt. I've covered the Battle of Troy. I've covered the Celts. So this adds to the growing list. So if you want to make a timeline like they have in this book, and you want to make one for yourself, make sure you have something jotted down if you don't want to have like the influence of this book on your timeline or something, as a like trigger warning, I suppose. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Should I save it and read it again at the start of November 2025 before reading it to the library? Possibly. Be fun to do like a October and November. I have to check this out. I think I should. It's approximately. We'll see. I'll hold on to it at least. And so it goes through some like observations and then kind of defining and communicating military tactics. And so I flagged some stuff, and so here we go. Something that I brought up on this channel before for like more recent medicine, and a guy from India, a particular doctor from India. Page 17, the Chinese had an emphasis on pulse, like the heart rate and pulse for medical diagnosis. Page 32 to 33 is that table I talked about. Oop. I'm hoping it's small enough you can't read it. And the text is full text pages like this. Page 45. Quote, bring war material with you from home, but forage on the enemy. Thus the army will have enough for its needs, unquote. So it's kind of saying, bring enough, the enough comes from like being successful in war. And so you shouldn't necessarily have everything you carry. There's part of the motivation of being successful in war is taking from the side that you conquer. So there's that. Page 58. quote, appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend, unquote. As a defender, I go, and sometimes we have defense in place or traps in place or mechanisms in place so that when people do that to try and make us rush, we're like, I did that multiple years ago. You forgot. All right, so this is more from an attack perspective than defense. So there's, as a defender, and from a military family. No, but myself a defender. So I was like, okay. And there was another one that was kind of like that. Page 68, quote, do not swallow a bait offered by the enemy, unquote. I'm like, see, as a defender, I go, that's nice. That's a great pointer. I spend the next eternity trying to figure out how to identify bait. Okay, what is a bait? And it's always changing, so that's like, it's an eternity project, so to speak. And then last thing I flagged, let's see, page 99. So that was page 68. Yeah, I said that. Okay, page 99. The end, quote, the end and aim of spying in all its 5 varieties is knowledge of the enemy, unquote. I'm like, did this book dictate the modern information age we live in? Is essentially a bunch of people trying to carry out this Chinese man's vision? I'm like, he certainly pulled off a 2,500-year legacy. He is the reason society is the way it is. Knowledge is and information is so easily accessible. Although information and knowledge are not necessarily synonymous. Yes. So essentially, the information age it makes spying easy. Just check the interwebs. So anyway, these are my notes for my October 2025 reading of The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles.